Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will unravel the story within The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood. The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood, published in 1969, is a satirical and introspective novel that explores societal expectations, gender roles, and personal identity. It follows Marian McAlpin, a young woman navigating career, relationships, and selfhood in 1960s Canada. As Marian grapples with societal pressures, her psychological journey is mirrored by her relationship with food, leading to a surreal confrontation with her own autonomy. Plot summary: Marian McAlpin's life unfolds with methodical predictability. By day, she works as a researcher in a market survey company, tailoring questions to fit the opinions of faceless consumers. By night, she retreats to a shared apartment with her roommate Ainsley, whose colorful whims and sharp tongue often clash with Marian's practicality. Marian is engaged to Peter, a rising lawyer with polished manners and a taste for control. Their relationship, built on societal expectations rather than passion, seems as carefully arranged as the dinner parties Peter hosts with obsessive precision. Ainsley, ever the contrarian, declares her plan to have a child, without the encumbrance of marriage. This revelation stirs discomfort in Marian, who finds Ainsley's rebellion both fascinating and unsettling. Meanwhile, Peter looms larger in Marian's life, subtly shaping her into his ideal wife. His insistence on conformity and perfection begins to suffocate her, though she struggles to articulate her unease. Marian's world begins to fracture during a dinner party with Peter's friends, a gathering of couples where she feels out of place. The evening devolves into a surreal moment when Peter begins to photograph Marian, demanding poses that transform her into an object for his gaze. She is disturbed by his control, but cannot yet name the depth of her discomfort. This marks the beginning of her slow retreat from societal expectations, mirrored by an inexplicable inability to eat certain foods. First, it is red meat, then eggs, and eventually even vegetables seem to rebel against her consumption. As Marian's disquiet grows, she becomes entangled with Duncan, a peculiar and enigmatic graduate student she meets during a work assignment. Duncan, pale and self-absorbed, lives with two indifferent roommates in a shabby apartment that reflects his detachment from the structured world Marian inhabits. Unlike Peter, Duncan is uninterested in control or ambition. His languid indifference both attracts and unnerves Marian, offering her a glimpse of an alternative existence free from the rigid roles imposed by society. Her relationship with Duncan deepens, though it remains ambiguous and unspoken. He represents escape, but also chaos, a far cry from the ordered life Peter represents. Meanwhile, Peter presses forward with wedding plans, presenting Marian with a life that feels increasingly foreign. Clara, Marian's friend who is overwhelmed by the demands of motherhood, offers a cautionary vision of what lies ahead, a life consumed by others, her identity diminished to a caretaker's role. Marian's dissociation intensifies as her body rebels against her. Food becomes a battlefield. Every bite feels like an act of submission. Ainsley's antics add to the chaos as she sets her sights on Len, a mutual acquaintance, as the father for her planned child. Len's bombastic personality and shallow charm contrast sharply with Duncan's quiet intensity, highlighting the spectrum of male figures in Marian's world. The unraveling culminates when Marian attends another dinner party at Peter's insistence. This time, her discomfort crystallizes into a full-blown crisis. Surrounded by Peter's polished friends, Marian feels alien and objectified. When Peter takes out his camera again, she bolts, fleeing into the night. The escape leads her to Duncan, and they spend the night together, though their connection is more symbolic than romantic. Duncan becomes the mirror that reflects Marian's growing realization that she must reclaim herself. The morning after, Marian makes a decision that is both strange and profound. She bakes a cake in the shape of a woman, a stand-in for herself. When Peter arrives, expecting reconciliation, Marian offers him the cake, declaring that he can consume it if he wishes. The act is a surreal and powerful rejection of her objectification, her way of reclaiming autonomy. Peter, unable to comprehend her defiance, leaves in anger. As Peter exits her life, Marian experiences a quiet catharsis. She finds herself able to eat again, starting with the remains of the cake. It is a symbolic act, as though consuming the figure allows her to reclaim her body and her sense of self. The rebellion against societal expectations is not loud or triumphant, but deeply personal, a quiet assertion of her identity. In the aftermath, Marian's relationships shift. Duncan drifts away, their connection having served its purpose. Ainsley, true to her unpredictable nature, continues with her own unconventional plans. Marian's world remains imperfect and unresolved, but she has carved out a space for herself, a fragile, uncertain victory against the forces that sought to define her. That's it for now, but don't stop here. Margaret Atwood has more stories waiting for you. Check them out in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Margaret Atwood's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.